Hello and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host Mitchell J. Rabin, and we're very glad that you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We have invited back Natacha Kolesar, who is the Honorary President and founder of Ideal and the Executive Director of the Izvor Foundation International. These are basically a spiritual community that are now operating in Montana and in British Columbia. And they are embodying the work and the teachings of a very special Bulgarian spiritual teacher named Omraam Mikhaël Aïvanhov. He's been spoken about in teachings going back to the Puranas of India, to Nostradamus, to the Book of Daniel. It's a very fascinating and compelling teaching. And Natasha and her community are here in New York for a few different visits to speak to the New York community about this very telling and very important teaching. So we're very pleased to have her back on the show with us today, talking about some of the subjects that are very near and dear to her heart and important for us all to know about. So thanks again for coming onto the show.
Hello, thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So today, for instance, Natasha, we were earlier speaking about the role of karma, what it is, and what is its importance for people to understand. Could you possibly pick up first on defining what karma is, and then we'll go from there?
Each century bringing us always some new words in the vocabulary, but often we use them and maybe we don't understand enough their real meaning. For that, we have to go to see the roots of our languages, and this word karma comes from Sanskrit. It's a simple action. The meaning is action. And action itself is neutral. We give a direction to our action because we express an energy through the action. So we can do it positively, it means in a constructive way, or we can do it in a destructive way. So if we are doing in a destructive way an action, we direct an energy, cosmically there is a waste of energy because it is given us to produce something beneficial, something evolving, something uplifting, something constructive, and especially creative. So if we don't use on it for this goal, it means that we waste, we cut this energy from the source. And because we waste it, it means we are not very good economists.
Exactly. Now, who is it that makes the judgment or the determination about whether it's being constructive or destructive? I mean, it could be said, for instance, to use perhaps an extreme example, that Hitler felt that he was doing something constructive for the Aryan people when he did what he did.
There are three kinds of registration for what we are doing, for each gesture, for each thought, and for each feeling. First one is in our own heart, of course, etheric heart. There is a permanent atom, like a very little tape, very tiny tape, coming with us and going with the soul. With each reincarnation, we have this tape, and it's infinite. We can use it for the eternity, sorry, and then there is everything registered precisely in its right way. We cannot lie or avoid something because we think like that it doesn't go for us. This is first thing. Second apparatus, extremely precise, we have them in Shambhala. In Shambhala, they have the files, the dossier for each soul on the earth, and not just for human souls, but for each animal, for each species, for each kind of insects.
All sentient beings.
All alive beings, and everything is registered, that we cannot say it is not us.
Who's the librarian?
We will tell it next time.
Next
his
time.
name. Then third registration is with 24 Lords of Destiny. They take care really about whole planet, about whole epoch for our short eternities. It means for each epoch, for each day of creation, for each reincarnation of the earth. So there are 3 records, extremely truthful and precise about everything what we are doing.
So from that point of view, to follow the image and the idea, if, let's say, Hitler felt that he was, in his heart, doing something good for humanity, then that would register, in a sense, as a positive karma?
No, because it doesn't depend how we see the things.
That was my question.
That depends how we are accorded or tuned with the cosmic laws.
Okay.
So it doesn't depend on my opinion or your opinion or the opinion of somebody.
Okay.
How we are, exactly like in music. It must be harmonized perfectly with the cosmic law.
So we're either on beat or we're off.
Yes.
And it's not an opinion.
Yes.
It's, you get it.
Yes. And in reality, we use now the karma very often just in negative meaning. But in reality, karma is action. That's all. But because the negative or destructive actions bring back the payment.
Quickly.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes not. To correct it, to arrange it, to harmonize it. That's why we use it now just in negative meaning.
Sure.
But in reality, it's just action. And when we are in harmony with the cosmic laws, then our action is transcending, is sublimated, and it becomes Dharma.
Dharma, exactly. Fine. Proper karmic action is dharmic.
Is dharmic.
Okay, very good. Now, from the point of view of the wheel of births and deaths, when we talk about karma being the cause of the beginning, the commencement of that cycle of births and deaths, does that include both negative and positive karma, or is it just negative karma that keeps the wheel going?
No, it's the movement in general. The spirit in reality is movement. The spirit possesses just one letter, is the movement. So the movement keeps in movement, it means
in motion.
In motion, the wheel of cycles, and there is a law of cycles. So we have to become creators. And it means we have to go through the different experiences. We have to learn, we have to arrange, we have to form, we have to do billions of things, billions of experiences, of efforts. But because we chose the path of the effort and experiences, and because we were very young to use some knowledge, that's why we did some mistakes, and now we have to repair them.
Okay.
So it became like negative, but in reality it is not negative. You have a lot of geniuses, they, for example, repeated the class, but doesn't matter.
Yes.
They became geniuses.
Sure, but that could be, someone can be a genius in one realm and not another. Some, in other words, are, in fact, we usually associate it with the mental realm. that people have a brilliance, but it's a mental brilliance. It's not necessarily in their heart.
No.
Or in the way they care for their body, their vessel.
No. It means their radiations are very bright, very well prepared, because our thoughts emanate radiations. The heart or feelings or our astral body is working with emanations, with magnetism. And the thoughts, it is more like electricity. But electricity, it's a mystery little bit for us. We will learn it further and later, because the electricity is connected with the cosmic electricity, and it comes from Uranus. And now in Aquarian Age, Uranus will send us a huge amount of energy, and we will work with this energy more and more, and we will learn more and more about real cosmic electricity, because this electricity is nourishing our thoughts and it's impregnated by wisdom, cosmic wisdom. So we will learn how to attract, how to capture, how to use this cosmic wisdom that we call technically electricity.
I see. So it's like electricity, you could say, exists on many levels. And the electricity that we use for lighting up the room,
yeah, it's physical
expression. And yet there are, of course, gradations.
Yes, physical expression. And then even for this physical expression, you can take, for example, a fridge. You can use the electricity through this arrangement, apparatus. You can use it through the iron. You can use it through the computer. So if we want to install the levels or the degrees, then computer will symbolize our brain. Then maybe the fridge, another chakra. Then iron, another one. So we can ventilator.
Ventilate?
To a fan for...
To funnel?
No, the fan for the wind. How you...
Fan.
Fan.
Yes.
So the fan, another expression of the same energy. So we can see how through different apparatus we can touch different levels, even in us or externally. So it means the same electricity will nourish different levels.
Sure.
So the cosmic electricity, of course, but this is the level of thoughts. Then for the feelings, we use the same electricity, but the same light, but transformed in a warmth. Warmth, we call it magnetism. So there is a lot of study done already with magnetism, but it is a little bit unknown for us.
Right. And so this has to do essentially with the attractions between people or things or subjects or objects, what have you. You've got a positive and a negative pole.
Yes, and this is the expression of our feelings or heart. So magnetism, another side, another facet of the same cosmic light. Then another one with a lower movement is vibration. Vibration touches physical level, but especially etheric. And vibrations have their form, their shape. Magnetism is usually circular, and the electricity or radiations are like rays.
Right. Linear.
Basically.
It's fascinating. Now, from the point of view of karma, what would you say we need to do at first as individuals, then on other levels? Because we're looking at a world today, Natasha, as you well know, that looks like it's on the precipice of an utter destruction of millions of years of the development and evolution of an ecosystem that is precious, that is this interweaving of energies, of beings, of species, so delicately woven, and literally daily there is massive destruction of this life cycle from which we gather the air, the oxygen to breathe, to do pranayama for that matter.
Yes.
And what do you see as our role in doing something about this karmic condition?
The first thing, we have to become conscious that we are not alone in the universe. Not just my home, my planet, my boss, my wife, everything is mine.
In other words,
And
expand the paradigm of who
have,
we are.
We have to enlarge our consciousness.
Yes.
And the most important thing is to become conscious that we are a part of humanity. Humanity is our family. We are a cell in this organism, a live organism, and the health of human organism depends on my behavior and my actions. How I participate in this evolution, advancement of whole humanity. So absolutely, the Aquarian Age will bring enlargement, the consciousness. All of us, we will become conscious that we are really one organism, one family. And imagine how wonderful our actions will be when we will stop to fight. To fight against our brother, our family, another nation, another country, because we are not conscious. Our behavior, our actions are like unconscious child.
Exactly.
So we have to become more mature, to listen to others, to be conscious that we are just one with everybody, before to become conscious that we are one with whole universe. It's not just my city and my country, it is my universe.
Right.
So this is the first step to do.
That's the first step. Okay. And what's after that?
After that we will learn.
God willing, yes.
we will learn cosmic poetry.
Yes.
Something
Indeed.
so incredibly rich, beautiful, harmonious, deep, and then we will enjoy, then we will create.
To put a finer point on something that we were talking about earlier before the show, and I would like to just bring up to bear because of the pressing importance it is in today's international scene, political scene, of what's going on in the Middle East with the Israelis and the Palestinians. This is such an issue, and earlier we were talking about the Yugoslav women, for instance, and the Turks, and going back to the Ottoman Empire. The point being that everything is a result of karma, and what's going on today in those two places, what's going on in Tibet, is all a result, a backlash, you could say, without judgment, but just, as you were saying, a precise parallel and response to actions that happened in the other direction. And it's being balanced out, so to speak, perfectly and cosmically. What would you say about what these particular people in the Middle East would need to see inside themselves in order to change the karmic pattern they've been part of for thousands of years?
First thing, they must see that they are brothers. They are brothers, not just from one heavenly father, but even physical. Abraham was the father
ethnically,
of Isaac and Ismail. So the first thing to do.
I say that all the time to my audience. It's great. I'm so thankful to hear you say
now
that.
Now they will remember it.
That we needed you to enter the scene. God bless, for sure. Now, I'm moving along because time with you is always so precious and so fast-moving, even though it's an illusion. What would you say is the role of music, since it's something that your community focuses a lot on both singing, choral singing, and the making of music in every way. Music does play a role in karma. What would you say that role is?
Each activity, not action, but activity, it means a family of actions, has its own mission on the earth. And the mission of music is to awake our memory of our homeland, divine homeland, and what we call in our tradition paradise. So it must, from our subconsciousness, bring to the consciousness that we are really divine children. We have to do something so glorious, to build, to create. So this is the first mission of music. Then secondly, we nourished very much our brain, our mental level, but we undernourished our heart. And the music first is nourishment, is a food, and secondly, the music, especially initiatic music as exercise, this music is purifying all the time astral level of the earth, astral level of nation, astral level of human being. So purification, construction, and to bring us to the divine consciousness from where we come. That's why in all initiatic schools, real ones, there was always music. But especially in the schools of love, because in these schools, the nourishment was offered for the heart.
Okay, so schools of love, paths of the heart.
Yes.
So music then is one of its places of greatest nourishment, is the nourishment of the heart.
Yes.
And when that becomes nourished and expanded, then people's karma is actually being neutralized because they're feeling and purified. Because they're being connected to all beings and all things, and experience more deeply a sense of equanimity and love.
And also, it doesn't influence just emotional level or heart. It is a principal nourishment, but etherically, for example, it influences our chakras, it purifies etheric body, music can heal us physically. And then, of course, because in music we use some words, then we can beautify, we can enrich the mind.
Sure, because of the content level of it.
Yes.
So there's the musical, structural, harmony level of like the use of melody and harmony, but then there's the content level which reaches both our minds and hearts and conveys meaning.
And bring us to the level of, to the world of harmony.
Oh,
it means the soul.
Хорошо. Very beautiful. That's great. Well, we will give an example of some of the singing that takes place in your community right after this interview, so people can have a direct experience of what is going on at Jaffray in British Columbia and see some of the music and some of the ways of life that they have created there that is really very special, and I feel is, the more I learn about it, a true gift to the planet and beyond.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for being a guest on the show again.
Thank you very much.
We will have you back again because I feel that your wisdom and your willingness to share it is a great gift to our audience across the country, and I want them to keep getting nourished on these levels.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you again. So, that's another show with Natacha Kolesar. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay tuned for the next few minutes, and you will experience directly, as I was saying, some of the music issuing forth to the planet from Jaffray, British Columbia. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Indiana.